What's up, guys? We're going to be talking about Blockstrings again today, and we are going to be diving a little deeper into Mixup. And I know when you hear Mixup, Vegito has no mix. And I'm not talking about what Wawa posted. I'm not talking about your cross-up. I'm not talking about the stuff I put in the master block string. What I'm talking about is player Mixup. Not Mixup that makes them block wrong, but interactions that you can heavily encourage, otherwise you keep your turn and get to just continuously rattle on them, to where if they use a defensive option of any sort, you have the ability to RPS them. And if they just hold down back, eventually you're going to mix in a DR at a timing where they're not comfortable about it. You don't always have to go that. Remember, you have your resets. You have your resets constantly, where you're constantly getting back your pressure. And if they were to mash during any of these resets, you're spacing yourself, so they're fucked. So if they're DR teching in any ways, super dash if they're doing 2L because of down back OSing. If they are hitting DR itself, if you just bring in a button, you'll beat all of that. So it's not safe to try to predict the DR, and it's dangerous to mistime DR tech. But let's say they can, just absolutely, they're holding down back, well, just keep staggering them. Eventually, they're focused completely on DR teching and down backing. Eventually, they're going to mentally switch gears. They have to. They want to take their turn. If you're at a significant life loss and they're trying to keep their lead and they're just, I'm down backing, I'm blocking Vegito for 2 minutes, congrats to them if they fucking do it. If they block you for 2 minutes straight, cool. You tried. But almost every player, every single player, is going to jump at some point. So you're trying to get out. If you have them in the corner, DR tech. Let me have them DR tech. And you get back in. And it's like, okay, DR tech, DR tech, DR tech, DR tech, DR tech. Eventually, they're gonna just want to jump. And because of the different timings, because you have so many save points, you can mix in that DR. And if they slip, you got them. And if they try to tech it wrong, you can frame trap them with a huge amount of damage. So having the resets and having the DR, especially with the Season 3 change of that, being woven in, to where if they tech wrong and they get hit by that, they get fucking exploded. That adds more times they have to watch out for and, like, focus. And I guarantee you, when they decide to change gears mentally, and they're like, okay, I'm taking this, enough of that, I'm out. Or they DP or whatever, and you're just shimmy, 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 shimmy. And you're just like, okay, shimmy, 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 shimmy. Fucking do a reversal on me. Fucking jump, do something. Oh, I'm still pressuring you. Don't forget I'm still pressuring you. Now, there's some timings where when you decide to hit them again, they could have jumped, and you can get whip punished. That happens. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. That's the player matchup. You don't just auto-play into guessies. But if you have the feeling of how you're conditioning them, once they jump, you have the ability to just go for this. And the fact that we have that anti-air grab is really underestimated by myself, honestly, a little hard. I talked to Rocket on that, and he was saying, bro, don't disvalue 214X. It's really powerful. And I thought about it as a player mix-up. Something I've leaned into in the past quite a bit. I've talked about the psychology of conditioning players, but it was No Kami's video on like why UI Goku is top tier, because he forces you into RPS situations very consistently, where it's not block this wrong, but interact with this thing that you think is fake because I'm being disrespectful, or you want to disrespect my fake thing, and if you interact or disrespect in the wrong way, you take a hit, you get punished. And I really want to emphasize the two situations where Vegito can do that same thing. So we've talked about when he's staggering and he's shimmying and how you can get that. Now you can get a couple different things with that. You can either get the reset, you can get a vanish combo, and I would recommend ending with an assist of some sort, or you'd have to go level 1. Level 1's still +4, and you can backdash and just kind of watch, see what they do. You can always bring them back to the ground with 2S and then come down with 2M, or you could literally, if they stop up backing against me, bro, stop up backing, you can make them really want to stop them. Then once they're on the ground, you threaten them with the DRs and frame traps and all that, and that's kind of your game plan. Because you can comfortably weave around these options and you're not just fixed string into Mixup, which a lot of characters have stagger, Mixup. And yes, Teen Gohan staggers incredibly well, but he's staggering at like really 3 points, and they don't have the best range. Where Vegito's staggering at all like 4 or 5 different points, and they all are outranging your normals. So, yes, Teen Gohan, for example, can reset his string. He's very terrifying if he didn't. And then you're just, I don't want to block this 50-50, is what you're thinking a lot of the time. But the I don't want to block, or I'm just going to sit here back here and block and look and try to OS, that's a player deliberately saying, I'm going to engage now. I'm going to interact. And if you can mistime their interaction by just changing up your reset windows and looking for DR in between that or during 5L, then you can break through them just trying to DR. Like, if they're so focused on that, they might get hit by 6M. So you have the universal mechanics, but unlike other characters, you have this, I'm going to stop them from jumping now, and I'm going to punish them for jumping. One of the most common ways to get out of things is jumping. So how do I hammer that in too hard? Let's talk about the other situations. Now, Vegito Discord member brought a question to me. He's like, well, I want to have a true vanish string against people I want to take my turn back with meter. And it's not like by reset, it's like I want to put them in vanish situation. Now, unfortunately, Coach Steve talked about how if they jump on the 5L or they backdash the 5L, there's 2 different ways to beat the 5L pretty hard. And that's unfortunate. We have to just hold that. But if they backdash, unlike certain characters, our 2M crushes backdash. And we get a huge damage off that. So if they're backdashing, if they're up-teching, like, we have ways to beat any option if we want to go into the RPS. We just have to make it harder being unvanish. But say you want that. That's pretty fine. You could also see, like, what's their defensive habits. Are they going to fucking reflect? And one of the best things you can do is look for their reflect. So let me first say the true vanish strings we have. So, whoopsie. First on me. So, 5S, true. And also, basically all of his S moves are true. And 2L is true. 2L has a lot of time. Like, that's a really large delay I put in. These are more instant. But if they're looking to reflect any of these S moves that are not true blocks, which they're not, or they're trying to super dash, you can blow them up pretty hard. So one thing that Clayton made a video on recently, talking about our pressure, he leaned a little more into this string, which, fuck it. That is a reflect-proof string with the frame trap at the end. And one thing he showed was that if they were to say super dash, once they've seen you go for the 2-3 success, now unfortunately the way you have to do this is a little annoying just in the lab, because there's a frame trap there, and also because of this having the key blast property, you can't just tell the bot to super dash on the second key blast. You can't do that, so you have to do this. I don't know why my hands are being retarded right now. I'm trying to hit start, and it's a little hard to reach that for me, so just give me a second. Oh wait, I can do it from the second one on. It's no big deal. This is really annoying. We'll just get to the spacing. We'll just get to the spacing where we want. Guard cancel super dash. Unfortunately, nah, you should be able to vanish here. So if they were going for on the success super dash, they're mashing. Well, that's not the best idea, because if you just test them like that, you can almost cancel into 2H and you get a strong amount of damage. That's fine. Got about 4K in corner with that. If you don't have the tracking assist, you get about 3-5, and it's not the best 2H damage in the world. But it's fine. You don't get the full meter, but it's fine, honestly. It's a good punish. It's a punish. And one great thing Vegito could get is if on that 2H punish you can get like 5K. They could 2-touch you off it. But he can't. So it's just unfortunate. But we still get 3-5 for them being wrong. So what if they decide on the true to success there's a timing where you can hit them with a 5M and explode them. And that was what Clayton was showing, like, woven into that string. And that's really goddamn annoying to do that string and have them do that option because I have to reach for the fucking start button. But I showed you where the punish is. So let's talk a little bit more about that string and the player mix-up in that. So I mentioned before that he has these ways to be plus unblock, spending that vanish, and the breakdown of interaction. This is, you take the risk of the frame trap, or if they want to reflect after the move, these moves do it, but you have to be at this distance. These moves will give you that true vanish, and they have to immediately decide, is he about to vanish and take his turn again, or is he baiting me? Because if they just make that decision right then, they're like, are you vanishing? I mean, am I vanishing? You can reflect and punish me. But if I just do this, literally wait. If you vanish, I'm 2M'ing you. Sorry, not vanish. If you reflect, I'm 2M'ing you. And you have to make these decision points very quickly. Interesting, a thing that I figured out is that because this is something that you can then reach there, you have a few little player things to do here. So if they were to see you go for that and then vanish, and they're like, okay, I catch on, I'm gonna go for, they don't want to go for the super dash because you've already shown them that you can blow that up. Thank you, Clayton. I will respect when you make good advancements, and I will credit you. I hate you with a fiber being that exists in every single cell, but this is a solid contribution. Now, where I want to advance it further is I want to talk about, if you do this, God, my hands just went retarded for a second. When you do that, we have the option where if they're reflecting, we blow them the fuck up. We can get that 5M, we can get rejump, blah 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 blah, we can get that damage. If they're reflecting, we don't probably recover fast enough for the 2M, depending on how quickly you react to seeing it. But we will get that 5M for sure. But what I want to add on is that because they're thinking, okay, well, I don't want to super dash this, I've already been hit, but he's going to try and vanish, you can mess with them a bit. Go for that, they reflect, kaboom. Now, if they're smarter, they're going to look for the gray, or the white little lines. They're looking for white lines, they're reacting very, very, very quickly while adding a layer of defensive OS. They're not going to get baited by this. And immediately, like, super dash or reflect because they're like, oh no, I don't want to get baited. Because there's baits every layer of we're testing. Go for like this, it's like, okay, is this a type of player who immediately goes for it? Boom, punish them. Is this type of player who is looking to wait a little bit more? Okay, fine, add a layer. And the beauty of that is you're actually confirming the frame trap, and with an assist you can get a nice little thing, and if you're going for the vanish, it auto converts the combo. So that's always nice. But what's interesting is that, as I mentioned before, you can air dash. And that air dash looks pretty damn close to a vanish. So those gray lines that they're reacting to and deciding, am I 2Hing, or, because the vanish you could make untrue actually, if you're looking for that. Or if they're just like mashing 2H as an OS, you could delay the vanish, make it a frame trap. Now granted, not the best damage in the world, but you could go for something silly, like how Dekillsage pointed out that you can do this. And take that as a turn, or that can actually be a mix-up sometimes. I had a little frame drop, whatever. So if you wanted to add the little delay there and call an assist right before, then cool, you got either your turn back or you got a conversion. So if they're trying to OS in that way, you can target their OS. If you figure out what they're doing, if they just like I'm just gonna do this. You can't do anything to me. Vegito can always target OSs, and we have options. But if they're just trying to look, okay, I'm going to reflect. Let's get to the spacing and then show you. Like, okay, I'm gonna reflect this. That's perfectly timed. So if they go for the reflect, and they're looking, they're waiting for the flash of gray lines, that can bait them. You can't visually confirm the difference between vanish and not already be hit, and like that's so fast to try and tell the difference between the vanish lines and the air dash lines. So that little extra layer can get them, if they're trying to OS you and be a high level player and break down your holes, Vegito plays the player. So those are a few more options. So if you integrate this long block string, if you integrate that into my master block string, now they have so much to worry about, and you have so many different ways to approach different types of players that first you want to feel them out with a safer strings. Again, this tells me what kind of player they are right away. Do they jump? Do they AP? Do they reflect? Do they try to beat my block stun being weak? How do they interact with that? And then you can target that, and you can target their defensive habits, and especially if they're OSing, you can make things worse by adding delays that no longer, like if they're trying to 2H OS, that vanish is no longer true. Call an assist, pick it up. You can do that kind of thing.